40 Commando Room is a battalion-sized formation of the British Royal Marines and subordinate unit within 3 Commando Brigade, the principal commando formation, under the operational command of Commander-in-Chief Fleet.Tasked as a Commando Light Infantry unit. 40 Commando is capable of a wide range of operational tasks. Based at Norton Manor Camp, Norton Fitzwarren, the barracks is in Taunton, Somerset. Personnel regularly deploy outside the United Kingdom on operations or training, whilst 3 Commando Brigade Room of the principal cold weather warfare formation. Personnel are capable of operating in a variety of theatres including tropical jungle, desert or mountainous terrain. The Commando is a regular participant in the annual Brigade Cold Weather Warfare exercise in Norway. The unit's first winter was 1991, until which the unit was nicknamed the Sunshine Commando. All personnel will have completed the Commando course at the Commando Training Centre at Lympstone in Devon, entitling them to wear the green beret, with attached personnel having completed the All-Arms Commando course. History. Formation. Early Commando units were all from the British Army, but by February 1942, the Royal Marines were asked to organise commando units of their own, and 6,000 men volunteered. The first Royal Marines Commando unit was formed at Deal in Kent on 14 February 1942 and designated the Royal Marine Commando. Before long it was redesignated Room Air Commando. Col J. Picton Phillips was the commanding officer. Jep Ray. The Commando's baptism of fire was at Jep on 19 August 1942. In support of the main Canadian Assault Force, NOS. 3 and 4 Commandos were to destroy the enemy coastal batteries covering the main landing beaches, whilst No. 40 had selected tasks in the port area and was to be responsible for reinforcements as required. In the pre-dawn run in the landing craft of No. 3 were fired upon and scattered, with the result that only 2 small parties managed to land. One was overwhelmed, but the other successfully engaged the Burnville battery for some hours before withdrawing. On the other flank at Vringville, No. 4, under the command of Lord Lovett, carried out what was officially hailed as a classic operation of war and completely destroyed the Hesse battery, successfully withdrawing and re-embarking with prisoners. Unfortunately, No. 40, when committed to the landing, under well-nigh impossible conditions, suffered severe casualties. Of the 370 officers and men, 76 were lost on the beaches. Among those killed was the commanding officer, while the second-in-command, Robert Houghton, was captured. Italy and the Aegean. On return, Room Air Commando was again redesignated, this time as 40 Commando. Further training and replenishment was carried out. Once back to full strength, it was sent to Sicily in July 1943 and a little later in September saw action at Pisio. Later that year the Commando was in action in Termoli in October, and in 1944 was embroiled at Anzio. Later service in Yugoslavia and Albania, followed by policing duties on Corfu, wound up 40's wartime activities. Post-World War II reorganization. Following the Second World War, 2 Commando and 43 disbanded, leaving 3 Commando Brigade, 44 and 45. To recognize 2 Commando Brigade, one of the commandos was renamed Number 44, becoming Number 40. The Commando was deeply involved in 1947–1948 civil war in Palestine, acting as the rearguard in the Protectorate. Leaving in 1948, they subsequently undertook security duties in Cyprus, Hong Kong and Egypt before moving to Singapore in 1961. It was involved in operations during the confrontation with Indonesia throughout the following decade. Returned to UK. In 1971 the Commando left Singapore and re-established itself in Seaton Barracks, Crown Hill, Plymouth. Over the next decade the Commando found itself deployed to Northern Ireland 4 times and also undertook an unexpected 2-month tour in Cyprus, after the invasion by the Turkish army. Falklands conflict. In 1982, following the Argentine invasion of the Falkland Islands, the Commando deployed on Operation Corporate. On the 21st of May the Commando were among the first troops ashore and secured the beachhead at San Carlos. The unit was subsequently split, having 2 companies attached to the Welsh Guards, preparing to attack Port Stanley. When the Argentine surrender came, 1980s, on the return from the Falklands, the Commando spent the rest of the decade involved in a variety of tasks, including 2 Northern Ireland tours to South Armagh, a 6-month peacekeeping tour in Cyprus and a 6-month operational tour in Belize. During the tour in Cyprus, the Commando was awarded the Wilkinson Sword of Peace from the 3rd time. Also during this period, in 1983, the Commando relocated to Norton Manor Camp near Taunton. 1990s. In 1991 the unit undertook its first Norway deployment but found itself undergoing a dramatic climatic change when, due to the Gulf War, it deployed to northern Iraq to ensure the security of Kurdish refugees. Northern Ireland tours, Norway winter deployments and a major Asia-Pacific exercise kept the Commando busy through the following years. In November 1993 the unit deployed to West Belfast in support of the Royal Ulster Constabulary, returning in May 1994. In 1998 a substantial part of the Commando deployed to the Congo to ensure the safe evacuation of UK nationals from Kinshasa City. Recent history. The new millennium saw the Commando deployed to Northern Ireland, and on the return they were the first Commando to reorganize under a new structural concept called Commando 21. The unit deployed in its entirety in January 2003, initially part of the Naval Task Group 03 in HMS Ocean, HMS Ark Royal and Royal Fleet auxiliary ships RFA Galahad and RFA Tristram. The group sailed through the Mediterranean Sea after a brief stop at Cyprus, continuing through the Suez Canal bound for the Persian Gulf. The United Nations were engaged in diplomatic efforts to avoid the need for military intervention in Iraq, as the unit was busy rehearsing in the United Arab Emirates and Kuwait for possible operations against Iraq. In March 2003, a coalition force, under the overall command of the United States, entered Iraq. During Operation TELIC-1, the liberation of Iraq, on the night of the 20th of March 2003, 40 Commando RUM, under the command of LT Col GK Messenger DSOOBE, mounted an amphibious helicopter assault to seize key Iraqi oil infrastructure on the Al-Faw Peninsula. As the first conventional troops on the ground, the strategic significance of the operation was immense, and, as the divisional main effort, the assault was supported by a vast array of coalition firepower. The Commando Group's role in the success of the coalition operation in Iraq was pivotal and profound. In a 2-week period of intense operations, it secured key oil infrastructure, cleared a large expanse of enemy-held terrain, and defeated a major enemy stronghold on the periphery of Basra, killing over 150 Iraqi soldiers and taking 440 prisoners. In 2004 the unit returned to Iraq as part of a multinational division peace support operation. The Commandos returned in April 2008 from a tour in the Helmand province of Afghanistan as part of Operation Herrick. During the tour, Corporal Matthew Croucher was awarded the George Cross for his action of jumping on a live grenade during a patrol. 40 CDO returned to Afghanistan in 2010 for Op Herrick 12. They were the last British troops to leave Sangin, described as the deadliest place in Afghanistan, after command was handed over to the U.S. Armed Forces. Her company deployed with the UK Response Force Task Group in April 2011. Additional follow-up forces were on board RFA Cardigan Bay. They then completed Exercise Red Alligator in October 2013. This trained the skills from the role of the lead commando group. Unit memorable dates: the landing at Termoli, the 3rd of October 1943. The landing at San Carlos, the 21st of May 1982. The clearance of the Alfour Peninsula, the 20th of March 2003. Battle Honours. The following battle honours were awarded to the British Commandos during the Second World War. Commanding officers. Commanders have included 1942 to 1942 Lt Col J. Picton Phillips Room, 1942 to 1944 Lt Col J.C. Pops Manasram, 1944 1945 Lt Col R.W. Sankey DSO DSC Room, 1945 Marge DEHEH DSO MBE Room, 1945 Marge W.D. Reed Room, 1945 Lt Col C.L. Price Room, 1948 to 1948 Lt Col R.D. Houghton OBEMC Room, 1957 Lt Col D.G. Tweed MBE DSO Room, 1948 to 1958 not known. 1958 1959 Lt Colonel Peter Hellings DSO MC Room, 1959 to 1961 Lt Colonel Ian Harrison Room, 1961 to 1963 Lt Colonel David Hunter MC Room, 1964 to 1964 Lt Colonel John Taplin Room, 1966 1967 Lt Col E.D. Pounds Room, 1967 to 1969 Lt Colonel Robert Loudon Room, 1969 1970 Lt Colonel David Alexander Room, 1970 to 1972 Lt Col D.L. Bailey OBE Room, 1972 to 1974 Lt Colonel John Muttram Room, 1975 to 1978 Lt Colonel Julian Thompson Room, 1978 1979 Lt Colonel Martin Garrard Room, 1979 to 1981 Lt Colonel Robin Ross Room, 1981 to 1983 Lt Colonel Malcolm Hunt Room, 1983 to 1985 Lt Colonel Tim Donkin Room, 1985 to 1987 Lt Colonel Alan Hooper Room, 1987 to 1989 Lt Colonel John Chester Room, 1989 to 1991 Lt Col A.D. Ray Room, 1991 1992 Lt Colonel Graham Dunlop Room, 1992 to 1994 Lt Colonel Anthony Milton Room, 1994 to 1996 Lt Colonel Ian Gardner Room, 1996 to 1998 Lt Colonel Jim Dutton Room, 1998 to 2000 Lt Colonel John Rose OBE Room, 2000 to 2002 Lt Colonel David Capewell Room, 2002 to 2004 Lt Colonel Gordon Messenger DSO OBE Room, 2004 to 2006 Lt Col DCM King Room, 2006 to 2008 Lt Col SM Birrell DSO Room, 2008 to 2010 Lt Colonel Paul James DSO Room, 2011 to 2013 Lt Colonel Matt Jackson DSO Room, 2013 to 2015 Lt Colonel Alex Jansen OBE Room, 2015 present Lt Colonel Andy Watkins Room,